Gavin from Balls to You, and in this video I'm going all the way over to Scott Wilkinson's. And if you're not following Scott Wilkinson on Instagram, links in the description box below, get over and give him a follow. Scott managed the importation of some animals from Aussie Boyds and Justin, which is absolutely awesome. So I've brought something from Justin, so yeah, looking forward to this. And also I picked up something from Tony Crawley. Now Tony Crawley is Ball Pythons R Us. Again, link in the description box below. If you're not following him on Instagram, get over and give him a follow. So I'm going to go on this road trip. Not sure if I can get some footage of Scott's place and some of the obscure animals Scott has. I'm going to do my best. If not, I'm going to try and grab a few words with the man himself. So yeah, sit back and enjoy the show. So here we are, we've made it safe to Scott's place, and this is the second time I've been here, and I absolutely love being here at Scott's place because it really does. I love visiting other people's places. It gives me enthusiasm, it gives me an interest. I love looking how other people do things, and Scott's computer system, the way he works and scans things is truly amazing. I've got a little bit of footage of Scott scanning things, but it's his own system. It works.
Tell me that.
Shh, don't tell everyone. So I've got a little bit of footage. I'll let some of the secrets out, and but yeah, I love the way he does things. Scott knows his stuff. He's been in it a long time. But before I go on, I'm going to introduce you to the man, the legend, the guy that's been in behind the scenes, the guy that's behind that sign behind me, Scott Wilkinson, Reptiles. It's Scott. Scott, thanks for being on the channel, mate.
Thanks, Gavin.
Let's just give people an indication on how long you've actually been in the hobby, or when did you start?
I was trying to work it out last night, funny enough. Somewhere around about 2003, maybe 2004.
Yeah, okay.
I think initially I got some blood pythons, some albino blood pythons, and they're nasty, ungrateful snakes to keep. Obviously saw what was going on at Crystal Palace Reptiles with Darren. Ended up going down there, emptying my pockets.
Oh dear.
I'm pretty sure it was about 2004.
Let's give people an indication on not so much what you spent, but I know the prices of ball pythons back then, single gene morphs.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Give us what was something like a pastel, a Mojave, or a spider when you was buying them. What were they worth single gene?
I think pastels were probably around about 1,500, 2,000 each.
Yeah.
A clown male was 3,500.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mojaves were at least that. I remember I bought a pastel lesser and a lesser for 7,000.
Yeah. I certainly remember
incredible prices.
I remember spiders being 3, Mojaves being about 3.5 again, exactly the same sort of time. My first ball python, as everyone knows, around 2002, 2003. Sugar, I've still got her. But you've gone, your facility is massive, and you don't just breed ball pythons. What other species do you work with, Scott?
No, I've had an interest in all reptiles from almost day one.
Mm-hmm.
I've always had big collections. I had crested geckos back in the early 90s. Probably had the first crested in the UK, Europe.
Am I right in thinking, because I had some cresties, due to captive breeding, we actually helped the wild population. Is that?
Oh, there's I mean
Yeah.
if you think the crested geckos were originally thought extinct.
Extinct. Yeah.
They found the original ones. The interesting thing, when they found them, none of them had tails. So when they started hatching ones in captivity with tails, it was like, oh wow, these animals have tails. But yeah, I mean, crested geckos is a fantastic success story for the pet trade.
Yeah.
They're bred tens of thousands now.
Yeah.
As a species, they're perfectly safe.
Yeah. Beautiful.
So yeah, I mean, crested. I was big into cresteds before I got into royals.
Yeah.
As the ball pythons expanded, I had to let the cresteds go because the husbandry was just totally different.
Yeah.
I couldn't, even in 2 separate rooms, it was
difficult.
It was just too hard work.
Yeah.
And with the variety in the ball pythons, with the genetics, you don't need 101 other species. You can have one snake that gives you 101 different colours.
Yeah, and that's something that I think the ball python is. It interests a lot more people, or it takes a lot more people, because there's so many colours and patterns and variations that there's something for everyone. You know, whether you like oranges to black and white.
Yeah, I mean the excitement from ball pythons. I would say ball pythons gives you so many highs, gives you some lows, some big lows, bad seasons, bad clutches, bad odds, bad sex ratios, everything else. But those lows make the highs so much higher.
Oh yeah, and I think what I find as well is we can stand here and disagree on a particular morph. You may like a morph, I may not. But the one thing that we do like is what the morphs can actually do, whether it be a colour or a pattern. What it does.
Yeah, I mean, if I look back in the beginning and think, what was we working? Maybe there was 10 key genes back then.
Yeah.
And we're talking cinnamon, pastel, spider, pinstripe, hypo, albino.
Yeah.
That's kind of it, really.
Yeah.
Those are the key ones. Mojave.
I remember when that they thought that actually clown wasn't going to be reproducible. They actually thought that clown, oh no, we'll never reproduce this, and we just never know. I think Brian Barczyk had that thing with the sunset. He actually thought that it'd be a codom or a dominant, and it actually turned out being a recessive. So I think we're still learning a lot, even though we're 25, 30 years into the ball python game. We're still learning a lot.
I think the clown's a great example of a gene it's been a sleeper gene for years and years and years, and in fact maybe 8-9 years ago, the price in clowns, no one was interested in clowns at all.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, obviously, I think probably pioneered mainly by Justin, but it's now probably the hottest gene out there. I mean, it seems everybody wants to work with clown.
Sure. And I think that's a good thing as well, because we can have these influx of sought after genes. So we can have some people, like over the years, it's been one gene that everyone's sought after. Like the albino, everyone wanted to make snows, the exantic.
Yeah, I never quite got why you'd go through all that work to make a white snake.
Yeah, when you can make the blue-eyed leucistics.
Yeah.
But I was certainly in that project. For me, the legs ran out on the snow. When I got producer snows, I was like, okay, I didn't quite know what to do. I just didn't have that foresight for me.
Yeah.
But it's still a beautiful animal. It's an amazing animal to look at. But again, like we said, people over the years, we can change and gravitate towards a particular project or step away and go to another project. And that's something that I really do like about the hobby, or the industry, because there's just so much diversity.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So what year would you say you mainly started to ramp up your ball python?
Pretty much right from the start. I mean, I bought probably, I think it was something like 200 captive farmed females, babies.
And for those who don't know what captive farm means, basically they were hatched in Africa. Basically, from what I understand, Scott may tell me different. The pregnant moms, if you like, in Africa, not the moms, the women, the people, we're talking ball pythons, or the gravid ball pythons, are actually collected. They're held until they lay a clutch of eggs, then they're released again back into the wild.
You'd be surprised. They would do that, absolutely. You'd also have trappers that would go out and catch eggs. They would find clutches of eggs.
Oh, okay.
And you would find that they would dig out the eggs, several different clutches, put them in a pillowcase, put them on their back, and cycle to the facility and sell the eggs over.
Wow.
And the eggs would all hatch. They had them in big pits in the ground.
Yeah. And that's something that in captivity as well, we're very, because we spent a lot of time breeding these animals and putting them together, we're very sort of, we hold the eggs as if they're like gold, you know, we're sort of cradling them as they're some sort of we don't want to upset the eggs, but as Scott's just said, you know, these are quite hearty animals, and ball python eggs are quite hearty eggs compared to some species. So that was very interesting, something I didn't really know, and Scott does have a lot of knowledge. He's been in it a lot longer than me. He knows a lot more than me. So this is sometimes when Scott speaks, I like to listen and pay attention. So back in the day, I remember getting in a load of captive farmed as well, females, because that was the way you could really, and they were really expensive as well.
In fact, I've still got captive farmed females going. Nearly.
Absolutely awesome.
Nearly 20 years.
Yeah. And just perfect condition. And again, there's something about the normal ball python, I think, that you need to have that odd normal in your collection. I've got one. You've obviously got a fair few. Because they are worth their weight in gold.
15, 20.
Yeah. So obviously, as you can see, Scott's got quite a big collection. We're not going to go into numbers. But how do you find managing a collection like this?
I've always gone along the lines of, when I had 20, I always thought, well, 25 isn't that much harder than 20 to look after. And 40 isn't that much harder than 30.
Yeah.
And 50 isn't that much harder than 40. And then before you know it, considerably more. But it's all about streamlining what you do and how you do it.
Systems.
It's all about systems.
Yeah.
It's all about procedure and systems. My entire adult collection is operated in terms of maintenance, so nothing to do with feeding or breeding, just maintenance, watering and cleaning is the equivalent of around about 8 hours a week.
And as you can see, we're not going to, like I said, we're not going to go into numbers, but you can see there's quite a fair few, and this is the female breeding room, okay, and there's more behind me, but it's systems, and this is something that I say, a lot of people jump straight into the hobby or into the industry and go out and buy 20 breeding females, but on those 20 breeding females they've got to clean, they've got to maintain, and they've got to feed those 20. Scott said, and something that I always remember Mark Mendek over at Marcus Jane saying, you don't go into business, you grow into business, and this is exactly the same. Wouldn't you say you kind of grow your collection rather than just jumping in?
I mean things are different now because of obviously the cost. You can buy a fantastic collection, you can buy a good collection based on what 15 years ago you'd buy 2 snakes. So it's a lot quicker and easier to get in. But you need to fine tune your skills and an understanding of what you're doing. Otherwise you'll struggle. You'll struggle to understand the basics of what you're doing.
And that's one thing I find, like some people say, oh, it's easy to breed ball pythons. I disagree. I believe you have, it's a bit like art. You've got to know what you're doing, you've got to learn the species that you're working with. You know, you have quite a few various species, and you know those species. Otherwise you wouldn't work with them. For me, it's more about learning the species, learning the snakes individually. Again, systems put in place just to make sure that you don't get burnt out too quick. So it's really interesting. I love hearing Scott's side of things and people with a bigger collection than mine, because I just love to learn, and this is why I've been meaning to do a video with Scott for quite a while now, and I've just chucked the camera and brought it down and I've gone, right, we're doing a video.
He didn't tell me. I would have.
He would have
had a haircut, to be fair.
But I wanted people to see the man behind the Scott Wilkinson Reptile sign and just have a chance to talk to Scott, because me and Scott have passed each other in shows, this, that and the other. We've said hello, but we've never actually got down and chatted, and the past couple of times we've talked and we get on really well. So I love Scott's mentality. Even though it's different to mine, not in a negative, not that mine's better and Scott's not, or vice versa. I love the diversity. I love the difference that Scott brings into my way of thinking, if you like, because sometimes I do think a bit narrow-minded. Scott helps to bring in the bigger picture, if you like. So I just wanted to have a quick chat with Scott and show you his sheep. So sheep are amazing. My daughter loves his sheep. But anyway, okay, brilliant. And
so even the sheep, that saves me 2 hours a week cutting the grass.
there you go.
So
See,
all about time saving.
There's a method. Okay, very quickly, do you have a particular season in breeding, or do you just breed all year round?
No, I try and make it a season just to make my life easier.
Okay.
This year I started later than I planned, but earlier than previous years.
Okay.
So I think we started the last week of November this year.
Yeah.
I want to slowly bring it round to basically first week of November.
Yeah.
Maybe even bring it back a week earlier into October.
Yeah.
So we pair up every Friday. All the males go out. There's around about 120 males get distributed in amongst the females. They're in there over the weekend until Monday. We remove all the males. We check for locks each day, maybe twice a day. We record all the locks now as well, so if you can just about see, well, I'm sure Gavin will show you some of the tag system, but if a snake's tub's got a yellow tag in the centre, it's got a male in, and if the yellow tag's moved over to the left or right, it means we've witnessed a lock.
Yeah. And that's, again, a lot of people who watch my channel are interested in how other people do it. I don't think there's any criticism on how it's done. It's just different ways.
Yeah. I mean, the interesting, the things I'm looking for, and again, because of the numbers, and the numbers give me good statistics. So what I'm keen to learn more is one lock good enough? Should I go for 2 locks?
Yeah.
My previous season, I think it was worked out, well, we averaged 1 lock per female, and 85% of all females produced.
Yeah. Because I believe that's that one lock at that critical time.
It was 65 at 1 lock, 65% produced.
Yeah.
But once, if I count all the locks, which I think only went up to 2 locks was maximum we saw, that took it up to 85% overall.
Yeah, on an average.
So it's at the moment, is 1 lock good enough? It's almost, you've got a 65% chance based on previous numbers that female is going to go.
Yeah.
If I give it the second lock, it seems to increase the average or the chance to an 85% chance.
Yeah.
But obviously that needs a few more years to play out.
Yeah, and it's data. Wouldn't you agree?
It's all about data.
Data. You've got to collect the data, and that's something, again, I've said it before, and I'll give Mark his due. He's always told me data. And Scott used to import into the UK for Mark Mendek over at Marcus Chain.
Yeah.
And I can see some resemblance in Scott's labelling system, or his system in how when I went over to Mark's place, we actually saw how he did his, and it's kind of, you do learn from people. You take bits and pieces and you put it all and you make your own.
Collection wise, me and Mark are very similar on our OCD, methodology and procedure.
And visual. It's that visual thing. You can walk in and go, these colour tags mean this. Right, I can see what that female's doing, X, Y, and Z.
I mean, now with the barcode system, I've been using that now since 2016, but that has revolutionised everything to do with records.
Yeah.
I can do feeding records for the entire collection, updated in less than 4 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's something. I mean, I started using Reptiscan, which obviously works on a QR code, very similar. However, I found that when I was scanning, I was able to keep an eye on the locks, and I purposely now just use it for the breeding side of things. But Scott's system again works really well, and again it's all about having that system in place. Scott just basically uses a scanner, and just scans them, goes through it, and then he goes over to the computer and just...
It's literally, it's an Excel sheet
that
I've written and just added some extra code in, some macros written in there that allows me to use the barcodes, wireless Bluetooth scanner.
Yeah.
But it allows me to put and collect any data in any format, in any way, very, very simply and quickly.
Brilliant. And we won't do this for too long, but if you knew what you knew now, going backwards in time, what would you do? How would you do? Would you
what would I do different?
Yeah. What
What is it because obviously through the years we've both seen a change in the industry. We've both seen that move. What would you do different now? If you had to give any advice to anyone starting out now, what would it be?
I think everybody makes the same mistake when they start. They buy too many males, not enough females.
Mm-hmm.
They get a bit carried away, and I was exactly the same. So that's one thing to be aware of. Buy your females first. Get your females somewhere close to size.
Yeah.
And again, I think it's very important to look what's out there, to see what's going on. I've got genes here that I've had now for probably 9 years. Take blackhead. So 9 years I've been having black in the collection. I've ignored it. I've done nothing with it. I've had, I think blackhead Mojaves were the only thing I produced and didn't do anything else for maybe 2 years with it. And obviously this year I've tried to catch up. I've got some fantastic blackhead combos come out, but if I look back and think, what could I have done in 9 years with blackhead?
Sure. And blackhead works really well with lavender, it works well with albino.
Yep.
Among other things, like we're starting to see now blackhead clowns. Ralph Davis produced blackhead clowns back in the day. Yeah. And what was fantastic with blackhead, and I loved blackhead when I got into it, I think it was 2014. Yeah, 2014, 2013. Yep. I got my blackhead male, and I just wanted to make some super blackheads. And again, I don't breed blackhead stuff every year. It's just as and when I want to breed them. But Scott's certainly made some interesting blackhead stuff this season, just gone. When I was here, we had a bit of a small little barbecue during the opening of the lockdown. Certainly saw, I could see the interest and the excitement in Scott's face regarding the blackhead gene, and as he's just said, he's trying to play catch up now, and I think that's good though, that you kind of, I don't want to just produce blackheads every year. Yeah, it was something that I went, right, am I going to, what do I want to make this year? Do I want to make some blackhead stuff?
The hardest thing about a collection this size is having the clarity and vision when it comes to pairing up.
Yeah.
I won't go into the total number of females, but there's over 120 males being used.
Yeah.
And this season alone, to get ready for the 2021 season, it's taken 8 weeks to work out the pairings. Okay. Yeah. I've had help from quite a few people coming in, some fantastic suggestions. Some people coming in and saying, Scott, what on earth are you pairing that to that for? And when I look at it, it's a stupid pairing. Yeah. But you become blinded going up pairing after pairing after pairing. I think I've still got 26 females left to try and work out.
Yeah. And that's something again I learned was
it's very difficult.
Not to sit there and start going, right, this is what I'm going to pair. And it's a good place to start when you've got a small collection, but when you've got a bigger collection, you want to make sure that every pairing counts. Yep. And sometimes I've had this now, and again I've spoke before about backup males. I'll start off with one male with a female, and then I may have a younger male who's not quite ready at the beginning of the breeding season. But I know I've got him as a backup male or as the main male I want to go in with that female. But by the time coming towards a last lock or close to 35 mil or 30 mil follicle development, then I want to put that male in. And that's sometimes an extra 3 or 4 months, which that younger male needed to get up to size to breed for you.
You often use 2 males, yeah?
I always talk about a backup male. So I've got backup males that that will go in and breed a hose pipe. Yeah. If one male isn't going to work because of compatibility or he's not quite ready, he's not got the kahunas about him, I'll have a backup male which I know I'll go, right, okay. So that, for example, multi-gene het clown male is not doing the job.
Yeah.
Okay, well my leopard clown that's proven year on year out, he's going to go in there and at least produce something for me.
I stopped with backup males maybe 6-7 years ago because of just identifying the clutches was getting difficult. I will use a backup male. So if I've got a black pastel pinstripe, an albino black pastel pinstripe that I'm doing, if I need to pull that male, if he's not been feeding regular for any reason, I will switch to maybe another albino black pastel pin. Generally, if the male that I started at the start of the season isn't doing anything, those females just won't be bred. So I don't, because it just makes life too difficult. It's hard enough already identifying 6-7 gene animals.
When I spoke to Gary DeMeyer over at Constricted Design, he basically has 2 males of the same morph, or as close as, and he'll have them like at the top half of the rack, and those 2 males will go through those females, and that's how Garrett does it. So
if I had the luxury of
multiple males,
just 2 of each male, I've got several of some males, but some of obviously the rarer genes. I mean, I regret I sold a Super Gravel male this year. I kept one. I wished I'd kept them both. I've got so much yellow belly stuff here
that you could have.
I should have. I mean, I was mad to sell it.
But
so you've done well convincing me to sell that one.
We're not going to say who, but that's key. So that's something, even now, for as long as Scott's been in it and I've been in it, we still learn. We still, God, I wished I'd have kept that female, or I wished I'd have kept that male. So it doesn't matter how long you've been in the industry or in the hobby, you still look back and you go, I wished I'd have done that, I wished I'd have done this. But things happen.
There's not too many regrets in terms of selling bits, to be honest. I'm my biggest customer by far every year.
And your best customer.
I don't knock myself too often. I mean, I do hold back a hell of a lot of snakes. I would say probably 90%, if not 95% of my collection now is own bred and reared from stock.
And that's something that I like and I love, but I also understand there's a point where you've got to go and maybe you've not hit that combo, and
I mean, absolutely.
It's buying time.
One of the mistakes I made earlier on was I would sit and refuse to buy a snake, a combo of some description, because I'd be thinking, I've got the ingredients, I'll make that. Even back then when we were just aiming for 1 in 4s. 1 in 4s on 7 eggs, yes, statistically you sound like you could get one. But then you've got to get the male. And you can still miss, and I've missed for several times. Instead of just buying the male that I needed to really jump the project forward, I probably lost 2 years on many projects.
And that's key as well, learning and knowing when to buy.
I think there's nothing wrong sometimes. I mean, I've bought some this year. I've just bought a few snakes. Nothing amazing, but they're males that I aim to be producing from this year's pairings. But they're high quality, they're good snakes. I can save myself a year by buying them now and then trading the ones that I've hatched instead. And it kind of covers itself.
100%, and I totally agree. And this again is something that you learn from speaking to different people and different breeders. And one thing I won't do is I won't never knock another breeder for how they do something, as long as it's working for them. And like I said, sometimes, and Scott's openly said that sometimes, you've got to buy time, and sometimes that's key, knowing when to buy or when to hold out. I think if it was me, I'd probably have a go at trying to make that particular animal. Like the Batman keeps eluding me, I keep missing it. I've overshot it, but I haven't landed on it. So this year I've gone, right, if this year I don't make it and I've got a simple pairing this year, instead of having multi-genes, I've got a single pairing. If I don't make it this year, next year I'll buy it. Fact. Because I need that for my other projects. So I don't want to keep, I've missed it this year, even though I've got the ingredients, I'll go for next year, because it's crucial for me to get my projects where I want them to be.
There's a cut-off point.
100%.
Absolutely.
100%. Well, I want to leave this, guys. Scott's gave us some amazing information. I want you guys all to do me a favour. If you can go and give Scott a follow on his Instagram. He's on Facebook, but we're trying to merge him directly onto Instagram. He does a lot more on Instagram.
Far easier.
100%. And it's there's no keyboard warriors. Scott's an awesome guy. Go and show him some support. He's absolutely, I can't thank him enough for what he's done regarding the animals that he's helped everyone in the UK import from Aussie and Justin. Go and show him some support. Even if you're not from the UK, if you're all over in the States, go and check out Scott's page, show him some love, and I just want to say thank you, mate.
Thank you, Gavin.
Again, absolutely awesome. So for now, guys, I'll leave you with this. I'll probably throw some B-roll in, but thanks for tuning in. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
the job, you can't ignore it. I'm transforming.